Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to respond by way of trainers who go into shelters, and in that case, any situation, even into home environments, by way, again, of this very popular idea that training is a learning-based exercise. And typically, again, engaging, you'll see right here with the treat pouch, okay, on the hip by way of Robert Cabral, who's identified as a balanced dog trainer. And I talk about this issue of, again, of the ability to be able to assess, okay, a dog by way of the current state of the relationship in terms of, again, of both the role of the owner as well as what a process represents. Again, when I talk about a process, what it represents, I'm referencing a intentional interaction-based approach, which reconciles both the role of the owner as well as, again, I talk about the core ingredients by way of a process: influence and control, how they're brought in at the right level, aligned the right way, to change perceptions of dogs, and again, diminishment of unwanted behavioral issues by way of the social aspect of the relationship, how dogs connect with us at that level by way as pack animals. Strength and weakness is defined through nature, through that connection socially. And so here, I talk about assessing, okay, and again, Cabral did a video on his contradictory statement, science has no place in dog training, based again on actually building off of what's called the four quadrants, learning, this idea that trains a learning-based exercise, and why, again, balanced dog trainers are in a compromised position by way of how they're motivating dogs to respond at the very beginning as a dog and owner are in the middle of a relationship problem, and without considering why those responses would be problematic, okay, based again on those two core ingredients I talk about, influence and control, not being part of a process. So here, same thing, going into a shelter, again, the point of contact. And again, talk about point of contact even in terms of the parenting example, okay? The moment a parent comes into the airspace of a child, it begins. And especially, I say it begins, especially if you're, coming to that point of the relationship where you're dealing with a relationship problem. The child has become selfish. You're getting information from various sources, including how they're interacting with you as a parent. And you come to that kind of epiphany moment, and then that changes everything. Especially, again, I talk about causation, actually auditing the parenting style in play, coming into agreement with the authoritative parenting style, which is the right parenting style. All experts agree on that. And again, I talk about those core ingredients, influence and control, how to define in and through the relationship as a parent in terms of how you're interacting with a child in meaningful ways, rules, structure, expectations. But again, always keep in mind in terms of the current state of the relationship. Once a child's become selfish, then again, defining a process that comes together the right way in terms of structure, in terms of how you're interacting with, how you're dialed into the relationship. And so these are some of the themes I talk about, dialed into. And so again, we transfer this over to dogs as social animals. And I talk about, dialed into a dog's state of mind as controls manifesting. So again, I talk about a expressed state. So one of the big differences in terms of when I talk about this system of training, in terms of being dialed in, is the state of mind of a dog. Okay, it's the stinking thinking as I talk about. You'll see it. You'll see how dogs, like, everything becomes a supply source. Their head is like pivoting, just like a guided missile, focusing in on other dogs, becoming very reactive because of the stress levels that are on the dog. And so balanced dog trainers, they're not dialed in that way in terms of intercepting, okay, just as controls manifesting. Again, you watch my Flipping the Script series, I put out some really great examples of that disconnect by way of balanced dog training represents. But here's the thing. Understand that balanced dog trainers, they are in agreement, okay, with approaching a relationship problem. Now understand, they don't even connect dots that way to even reconcile that you're dealing with a relationship problem. Okay, understand that to them, everything trains just like just a learning-based exercise. It's just about, So understand there's no real depth here to even, be able to even connect dots. So again, going back to the selfish child example, just think about it. As a child becomes more and more selfish, behavioral issues escalate. The child doesn't have a good way of thinking, right? And so that level of engagement, that level of being able to connect dots just is not there because they approach training as a learning-based exercise. But same thing as a parenting example. Do you honestly believe that once a child has become selfish, that now you're going to turn it into a learning-based exercise by way of response that way? No. It's like in a child, surely you can bribe a selfish child to pick up their toys in a certain moment. Doesn't mean those moments, represent those moments of agreeableness. I talk about that too. The context of agreeableness doesn't mean those moments represent the relationship's getting better, especially if you're not connecting the dots within the relationship itself. So understand the same thing holds true. So here you got Cabral going into a shelter, okay, with, and you'll see him right away starting to connect with treats. Think about that. It'd be like, grandparents coming in to visit their grandkid with, toys and goodies. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that if the relationship is, going the right way. But consider when it's not going the right way, right? Agreeableness. So here's the same thing. You gain agreeableness, but you get your hand extended out with treats, but that's not the way to be assessing any dog. Okay, dogs that end up in shelters, they're typically there because the fact they've gained control in the relationship, it's manifesting itself in various ways. And so you're going in, and here's the crazy thing. You watch a video of Zach George in Alaska, he goes into the shelters trying to kind of, put his ideology up on display with treats, right? And it's like, and then in fact, the statement Zach George makes is like, I don't even understand like why the dogs even are here. They're so agreeable. Of course they're agreeable. You're bribing them. I mean, just think about that. This thing about, how do you reveal the truth, the current state relationship? Well, it comes through the core ingredients, influence and control. Just like think about the selfish child. When is the child's attitude revealed? Parental influence, a demand. Hey, pick your toys up because you're the parent. Versus, and here's what the entire dog training world is based on, pick the toys up and here's $100. Think about that. What's revealed? Nothing's revealed. In fact, it offers up a false, image that, things are going good in that moment. And then consider why it is on all these, trainers, especially force-free trainers, on their social media, on their, looking for video content, they all look like infomercials, right? They're just like snapshots of certain moments of agreeableness, but the themes are in play there: bribery, accommodation, negotiation. So I'll play some of this video, but pay attention. Again, here's Cabral entering the shelter, offering up an assessment based on bribery.
So here's Precious, super sweet.
Right here, got the right away, right? Loose leash, right? Influence and control, no intentional control of this dog. The moment of contact, just like the parent's moment of contact, treats in the hand, right? I mean, just think about it. That's why I even talk about context of focus by way of defined in through the relationship the right way. Just like, a selfish child will go to the same parent to get their ice cream to the permissive parenting style. But, force-free trainers, even law of balance dog trainers, would want you to believe that focus is the right type of focus, right? Understand, it's like a social contract. How you're signing off here right away. This dog's in the shelter, and he's got his hand out with treats here. Of course the dog's going to move forward. It's not, understand something here, when you're bringing those core ingredients online through influence and control, it's intent too. You watch how I'm doing it. It's about dog understanding intent. I'll get into that. So, of course, any dog's going to go into high challenge if it's erratic. Okay, this is why you watch people like the Dog Daddy and some of these other trainers. It's erratic. Okay, it has to provide clarity. It's got to funnel the right way. But here, this is totally different. Okay, this is just nothing more than bribing dogs. Because again, this is a dog that's in the shelter, right? So this is the assessment. What type of assessment is this?
Easy, knows your commands.
Knows her commands. Now understand, I get in this. Commands mean nothing if the social contract that was signed is based on, just like, hey, I do a sit, I get a treat. I do a sit, I get, rewarded, empowerment, right? All these things, control. So a dog can be moving, going through the motions in full control. Because so understand here, this is nothing more than motivating a response. Core ingredients totally missing.
She's a real soft dog. She gets really shy when you put her.
See, notice that moment here. Pay attention to that. So, the moment he stepped towards the dog, that dog backed off a little bit. No treats in the hand, right? He's like, the dog, okay, don't get treats. So that's the thing. This is why dogs will come in. If a dog goes out your front door, right? First thing people will do out of grab some treats, try to bribe the dog in. But think about, just like here, think about the moment though that you're moving from the bribery part to try to bring the dog under some level of control so you can get a hold of your dog, get them back in the house. What's the dog's reaction? They'll crouch really low, they take off again. Control, right? Influence and control. Dog's in full control, so doesn't want to be brought under control, even if it's reasonable, right? Pay attention to these little reactions of this
Shy
dog.
when you put her leash on, needs some socialization.
Shy when you put the leash on, right? Leash is control. It's not about shyness, it's about control. If you start to bring the dog, guide a dog, but bring a dog under intentional control, the dog is going to not like it. There's your proper assessment. This isn't the right assessment. In fact, this offers up, because what he's saying here, oh, this is a great dog. It's not about dogs being good or bad. This is about, the right process so a dog can truly become good, right, through the right process, the right way. Okay, this sets people up for problems. Dogs end back up in shelters. So my encouragement is when you see trainers out there going into shelters with treats in their hand, they're bribing these dogs, no good. Understand that's not the right way to assess any dog. Okay, but when I do an assessment as well, it's not about pass or fail that way. Okay, so people can see the level of control that dog is holding in the relationship, and so therefore it provides you a foundation as how defined that structure needs to be, right? How long a process perhaps needs to go forward on, but with those core ingredients through a intentional interaction-based method. So again, check out my website. Lots of great information. I talk about what defines a process, and it certainly is not this. Thanks for watching.